Hey, today we're going to look at the latest CEO's response on why the developers are being secretive and not publicly discussing the next update. The Bot Titans might be undergoing significant changes, and we'll also discuss the community manager's response about the next Warbond. Additionally, we'll shed some light on the Illuminate and more. If at any point you enjoy the video or find it informative, consider giving it a like by tapping the thumbs up button below the video. Alrighty, let's begin by talking about the brand new Commando Warbond that will be arriving on June 13th. Right here you can see a list of items, and we will go over it here briefly. So we can see that there's going to be this new Liberator Carbine, and then we also have a Bushwhacker, which really looks awesome with those shotgun shells just laying nicely on the side. Completely just brand new, unique, and it does look absolutely amazing. If we take a look at the armor, another unique set here, and overall it does look like they've just done so much to this. Like, compared to the other Warbonds that were just a little bit lackluster in my opinion, with, certain things looking unique, and here everything looks just amazing. It doesn't look like it's repetitive, it just, again, looks unique. There is apparently a throwing knife, experimental infusion, and 300 super credits, so there you go on that. There's also a player title, some brand new capes, and apparently a Viper shuttle, a Viper helipod, and a Viper combat walker. We're going to get into all this right now. There is going to be a brand new passive this time, which is going to be called Peak Physique, and apparently this is going to improve the melee damage and weapon handling. They also have some patterns and boosters that they've talked about. The Exosuit and the Pelican 1 are inspired apparently by a classic woodland and tiger stripe camouflage patterns. We do have a brand new utility item as well that I just brought up at the beginning, which is the throwing knife. And this right here can be thrown and picked right back up so that you have your ammo, obviously again. So really something I think a lot of us have been expecting, some sort of melee weapon. Now sure, you cannot actually melee with it, assuming, but you can throw it. And with that, that's pretty much it when it comes down to this Warbond. I think this one is by far going to be the best, but we will not know for sure until we're able to test out the weapons, of course, but so far this looks amazing. Twinbeard also replied to a member who asked about the spawn rate bug in Retrieve Essential Personnel mission. The community manager wrote back stating, there will be some more info on the Retrieve Essential Personnel mission soon, stay tuned. And lastly, Baskinator, the community manager, has confirmed there will be a blog post soon, sometime this month, about Helldivers 2. Hopefully by using a blog, we'll see more communication from Arrowhead, and with that, this is her post. There's a couple of blog type things coming throughout June. Next, the latest update from Arrowhead CEO Shams Georgiani has mentioned on X, formerly known as Twitter, is about the start of a new series called Lunch and Lunch Workshop. This series will cover a range of topics, and the one recently chosen is building a healthy relationship with their players and partners. In his X post, Georgiani said, I asked Pilised to host the first of a series of Lunch and Lunch Workshop at the Arrowhead GS office on the topic of us and them building a healthy relationship with our players and partners. We try to unpack learning since launch. He also included an image of Pilised, the Chief Creative Officer and Creative Director. These images contain a Reddit post and a YouTube video screenshot. The most interesting one has got to be the second one because it pertains to a specific part with the Bile Titans. The Reddit post can be seen at the top left, which he has also showed with the too long didn't read stating, shooting a Titan's mouth should be considered critical damage. Now, just to clarify, the too long didn't read is pretty much a summarized version of the original Reddit post from some member that posted that information over there. So this isn't them saying, hey, yeah, we're going to implement that next update, or that the mouth should have some sort of critical hit point. Now, with that being said, this might be something we can look forward to either in this update coming up or in a future one. This is pure speculation, of course, but the fact that they brought this up means they are discussing about it, and I am excited to see if we can see a big change like that. It only makes sense, right? We can blow off a Charger's head, but not a Bile Titan. So yeah, that's something I would like to see. Moving along with the conversation, the CEO at Arrowhead compared the players to patients and developers to doctors, okay? It may sound strange at first, but once you hear it, you'll probably understand, I guess. I don't know, you guys hear it. The chief executive continued on by saying, a big takeaway is that we as developers and players have a bit of a doctor-patient relationship. A patient comes in with knee pain thinking it's due to a particular thing. We as doctors know it's not that thing. The patient is wrong, but they are also still in pain. From what I understand, and feel free to chime in down below in the comments, but he is essentially saying that most of the complaints are just not right and that we're wrong and the developers know a bit more about what's going on. And I don't think he's wrong if we're talking about coding or developing games, but I'd say there's a good percentage of players who have valid reasons for disliking the game at the current moment. We could discuss issues like reinforcement bug, stratagem menu bug, excessive nerfing, ineffective balancing, and more. I might be taking this wrongly here, or perhaps he had received some feedback that was outrageous, and if so, then I understand. What are your thoughts on the CEO's latest post so far? Let me know. Moving onwards, Shams Georgiani continues on by saying, "We are talking about that our initial reaction might be strawman, defend our decisions, where we could be strongmanning and be inspired in future work." Now, with this response, it sounds like Arrowhead is planning on taking in the feedback or criticism to help improve the game, and without being too defensive. It sounds odd because of the last post, but there's a member here who replied with, "Then look at the first article written to defend nerfs. Primaries need to still be good when you don't have your stratagems available on CD." The CEO requested the link and went over it, then responded with, "Okay, I think, and I'll have to speak to Patrick on this, that weapons got changed more since this was written, and we have more tweaking to do. I believe the design intent holds true, weapons take you far, but neat stratagems are needed to really handle all the challenges." He then continued on with another post by saying, "I think the general consensus is that weapons should feel more powerful and TTK could be lower," which is, by the way, time to kill. Now, let's say that they do end up making some additional changes. Does this mean the next patch is delayed, or is it still going to continue forward? This conversation continues on when the same exact Twitter user responds to Shams by saying, "While I agree with those points, weapons have lost utilities and unique quirks to balance around the same baseline, like Slugger losing stagger and demolition." This user continues on to list a few more names of different weapons that have obviously received some nerfs, and this is the CEO's response. "Ping me again in a few weeks and let's see where we're at. With every new enemy, future, and reworked system, weapons will continuously need to be rebalanced. They'll never be, quote, done, but we'll never stop trying to make things more fun." With this information in mind, we can expect further balancing in the upcoming updates, and hopefully they will take their time with it, as they seem to have done this with the patch. Although we haven't seen the update just yet, it sounds like they are putting in a lot of effort, and we should expect more weapon changes based on what the CEO has said. He also talks a bit about keeping things under wraps and secretive so they can surprise players, and also briefly brings up roadmaps. The post can be found here over on X, and Shams Georgiani wrote, "We have challenged in that we want to keep things secret so we can surprise and delight. But people want clarity on the roadmap. When we aren't clear about a roadmap, people extrapolate on our previous track record. I've seen numerous comments in the past discussing how you all would like to see a roadmap, and we've even debated on this channel. In my opinion, a roadmap could be beneficial if it can be revealed without spoiling surprises. Some games have successfully done this in the past, and it has generated a lot of excitement and hype, so why not do it?" Moving on to the final and last discussion here, because a player responded to Georgiani by asking, "I agree, I just want to know what feedback you're rejecting and what feedback you're taking seriously." The CEO responded with, "Thanks, we'll be sharing more on this in the future, I hope." There will be some information available at some point. Of course, he does say hope, and hopefully, by the way, it will be sooner rather than later, since the update is speculated to arrive next week on the 11th. Arrowhead has frequently updated the game in the past on Tuesdays, and the community manager has confirmed that it's happening in the second week of June, so it only makes sense to expect that update sometime then, right? Lastly, let's dive into some Helldivers 2 leaks. If you're not interested in data mined information, feel free to skip ahead. I'd like to also give credit to Asunder for finding this information out, but I do also want to say that we'll be revisiting some enemies here that we have discussed previously, so these models are not new technically because we have talked about them in the past. These are just some newer models, but there is a new crystal rock sample, at least that's what it could be, or perhaps it's just some sort of mission object. Now, with all the leaked information being said, could the Illuminate faction be making a return soon? I think it's unlikely they'll appear this month, but I could be wrong. We do know for a fact that we will be heading back to the Automaton planet soon to place down a new ion dark fluid so that we can create more dark fluid. If you would like to know more about this information, I will leave a link down below in the comment section. Just let me know. With all the information being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news, and we're now going to talk about the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured on the channel and speak your voice, then comment down below. The first comment here is by Democratic Officer. This person says, "Portal, you say. Helldiver report to our offices for democratic reconditioning of freedom. Bring a fresh pair of pants, you'll need them." That is absolutely a hilarious comment there, but coming up at number 2, we have Otto von Bismarck, 1794. This user says, "My headcanon is that we just teleported a Terminate super colony next to the Illuminate's new homeworld, and they're going to be delayed fighting bugs. The bugs are probably dead, but it's funny to think that we just threw a super colony at them." And last but not least, we have this username, 457 Dragon, and this person says, "I wonder when the Illuminate finally show their faces, if we'll get a Warbond that releases reverse engineered Illuminate weapons." And that right there, I hope so too. That would be amazing. But anyways, with that being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news and your comments from the top previous video. If you guys would like to be featured, remember to comment down below. Thank you guys so much for the support. It truly means a lot to me, and I will see you guys in the next video.